Hello and welcome to the Theorem podcast. I'm Aspasia Provou and I'm here to shed light on alternative contemporary knowledge and suggest feasible ways it can be incorporated into our lives. The podcast today is about young humans and their education. My guest today is Evangelos Vlachakis, a cinematographer and media educator, an outdoor activities facilitator, and a plant based cuisine and holistic lifestyle lover. Evangelos is passionate about the arts, nature, and the physical environment in the context of democratic education and is a keen researcher on natural learning and self directed education. He combines all of his skills and experience to share his knowledge. He represents a group initiative for democratic education that brings together people from across the continents to share insights and build community. He has founded Porto Grana World Schoolers Hub to assist homeschooled kids and their nomadic families. Our paths crossed twice so far at the UDA conference and in an agile learning workshop. Evangelos, thank you for joining me at Theorem and welcome.
Thank you very much.
So let's start off by defining democratic education.
Yeah, okay. Democracy and education. So, broadly speaking, I would say democratic education can be understood as education in which young people have the freedom to organize their daily activities,
Mhm.
and in which there is equality and democratic decision making among them, among adults and young people. Um, Democratic education encompasses a broad range of theories and philosophies and pedagogies as well. It has to do with a communitarian form of democracy, say direct democracy, and critical approaches to pedagogy, as well as and incorporates the gamification of learning. Play is a major part of democratic education. Um, yeah,
Hmm. The first thing that comes to my mind is that direct democracy can be very unfair to the few ones, to the minority. um, what's your take on this?
yeah. In democratic school environments, there is equity. The children and the adults have equal vote, and in this way they can ensure that all voices are heard and
Mhm.
taken into account.
So, is this what you're describing really democratic? When, well, if everybody has a chance to say their opinion, that's wonderful. But do people get to vote? How does it work?
Yes, it's about collective decision making,
Hmm.
where all the members of the school community, regardless of age, uh, have an equal say over significant decisions, such as school rules, for example, projects, the curriculum, the hiring of staff. Okay, so in this way, um, they they form a community based on equity. So it's really democratic.
That sounds very empowering for the kids. How do they experience
Yes.
it?
How do they experience it? They have the experience of being part of this, being part of democratic of a equity based community. So since they are part of it, uh, they experience uh, this very in a way um, they live democracy actually. So they don't have second thoughts about it. It's like a very natural way of interacting with the rest of the community, the peers and the adults.
Evangelos, when a young person gets to experience democracy, how does this shape them for the future, and not only and for the present?
This is the major. It's a key principle of democracy, to be able to be part of this democratic community in decision making, collective decision making from the from your very early stages of life. Since the children are part of this community, and they're respected, their views are respected by adults. They are really empowered, and they are ready to take responsibilities as well, and take decisions that affect their community and themselves. So in this way, this is the best, probably the best way to for civic education to happen. So we have adults who are really empowered and responsible as citizens.
Hmm. And could you give us some examples of people who were nurtured in such an environment, such a school system, and how this has shaped them into becoming empowered citizens later on in life? I mean,
Yeah, there are many examples, like students who had this experience in their life of being part of a democratic school environment. The majority of them are really empowered to intervene and to have a say in their social life, in their political status as citizens, and they are activists that care for humans, for nature, for the environment, and they become really responsible and sensitive persons. This is something that I have noticed by meeting this kind of students when they are adults, of course.
well, it makes sense because if when you are young, when you feel that your voice is being heard, then it's more probable that you will be using it as you're older.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Yes,
it's great. I love that.
and this is what the democratic education principle conveys. It's the young people are learn to speak their minds. Okay, so they fight for issues that are important to them, and solve problems as a group, not independently. And this is the basis. I mean, by respecting the opinions of others, and this is the basis to contribute to developing their communities.
Evangelos, what led you to all of this, to democratic education, and yeah, what led you there?
Yeah, it was a journey of self-discovery. Let's say I had some bad experience from the Greek school when I was a kid,
Hmm.
when I was younger. But and I I was very concerned when I became a parent. So this led me to investigate the alternative pedagogies, and I came across the concept of self-directed learning and democratic education. Um, and this, yeah, that was one point where I tried to reflect on my experience as well as a young student, and to to have a say, to give to give my daughter the choice to have a to be part of a better school environment, to be part of a school environment where she can express her own personality and identity.
Mm-hmm. My own personal experience with the public school in Greece was, I'd say, mostly shit. For two main reasons. First of all, because I'm dyslexic, so I was considered like second grade student, and nobody ever saw beyond that, or maybe very, very few teachers of mine. And also, I
Mhm.
always had this a natural instinct, I don't know how to say it, to defend other people. And so, there's this sentence, this question that I heard oh so many times throughout my school years. Εσύ τι είσαι ο δικηγόρος του? What are you, his attorney? So I heard this so many times. So I always felt that things were not fair on the one hand, and on the other, that this way of learning was definitely not working for me. So, how has it been for your daughter that she had the chance to go from the conventional, education system to this alternative one?
Um, well, despite the state controlled education pattern in Greece, there are a small number of Greek public schools that manage to include some of the principles of democratic education in everyday school life, mainly due to specific social circumstances that favor this minority of enlightened, dedicated teachers. So yeah, we had the chance. My daughter had the chance to be part of this of a public school that tried to get away from the norm and to deliver some kind of inclusive school environment to the students. So yes, she was at some point in her school life. She was very happy being part of this school. Unfortunately, this didn't last for long. But anyway, she had this great experience.
Okay, why didn't it last long?
Because of bureaucratic reasons, the school and the principal of the school had to leave the school, and so this project was abandoned. Let's say
Oh, are you talking
this.
about the Furfuras?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, just to add some context here, Furfuras is a public school, primary school in Greece that was how can I say this? Could you tell us, please? You'll say it better.
Well, they tried to incorporate some kind of freedom in everyday school life and
Hmm.
play-based learning and school councils and it was a great attempt to intervene in this old and very old-fashioned school system in Greece. So it was a really brave attempt.
Hmm. So, what did your daughter think of this and the shift from the conventional to this non-conventional, and then back to the conventional?
Well, well, she had mixed feelings, and I think she was very happy and to see that there was a different school than she had already experienced. She was thrilled actually to be part of this community, and she had the chance to develop herself, her own interests, and I think it was a very useful experience for her and her life. Even though afterwards she had to go to con- sabbatical,
Conventional.
conventional school. She was. I think she was very empowered to be to continue, and she to withstand the difficulties of this of the conventional school, and now I think she has great memories from that school, and she wants to change something. I think she's although she was at some point disappointed because she realized that she cannot change anything by herself, but now she's I would say more empowered to. Now I think she's already a teenager, and she's more empowered to strive for a change.
Hmm. I love that. I hope she does, because this system is so rigid, so old fashioned, as you mentioned. It really needs changes. And you mentioned play. You mentioned play based learning, and
Mhm.
oh, I'd love to hear more about that.
Yes.
How does it work?
This is a
How do kids take it, and how can play be combined with actual learning?
well, this is a principle that arises from examination and of behavior of children, of how we learn as humans. Uh, so it was almost it came like a principle. No, I would say it came like a given that children learn better by playing, by interacting with their peers in a free, non-constructed way of playing. So all the scientists are that are examining human behavior and learning are almost almost agree totally that play is a major part of is the basic actually uh, step to learning.
Hmm. Hmm. And it's also many other things. It helps us adults, even, and as well as kids, overcome anxiety. It helps us feel less tired. Um, what else?
Yes, because it's fun, and so when there is fun, you learn better without realizing that you learn something.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's the principle.
Yeah, and you also feel more free in this activity or whatever it is. You don't feel that something is being imposed on you. Like,
Hmm.
I'm guessing most kids feel in a classroom that they're, constricted, and they have to sit, and they have
Yes.
to be quiet, and they have to this and that. So yeah, plays such a wonderful element in learning. What have you seen in your experience with democratic schools and the way this system is using play?
Yeah, okay. Most of the democratic schools I visited have a very free curriculum. The children are able to choose, have a choice on what they want to learn, what they want to concentrate on, and they are free to join the classes. So when they are free to join the class, that means that when they join the class, that means that they're um, very dedicated
Hmm.
to learning.
Well, they are there because
So
they want to.
exactly. So they have this freedom to play as long as they want and like, and when they are ready to attend the class, they just join the class. They stop playing and join the class, and then they continue. They go on with playing.
And how does it work? Tell us.
Huh.
Does it
Well,
happen, or kids just sometimes stay out all day, or how does it
yeah,
work?
and yeah. Since they are free to join, yes, there are cases where children play for months, even for. There was even an extreme case where one child was playing for 3 years, and he never joined the class for 3 years. Uh, so, but finally, eventually, not only he joined the class, but he became very passionate about computers, and when he became an adult, he founded his own company.
How did that happen? I mean,
Well, it
how did
happened
a kid
naturally.
from playing 3 years straight went into a class and found their passion?
Yeah, because he had all the freedom to enjoy his life as a child, his childhood. So this is a key aspect of this democratic education, to be able as a child to enjoy your childhood. So this means that when you're ready, when you become older, when you become a young man or woman, then you're dedicated to your interests. You find your interests, and you know, and you can pursue your interests in this way. So you excel in what you're doing. This is an example.
Yes. Yes. I remember during our time at UDEC, during the workshops there, many parents talked about their fear that if their child was left free to decide on their own, they would never join a class, and the parents were afraid that their child would never learn how to read or count or write, or the basic things,
Hmm.
because why would their child do that? And I understand that, well, we're parents and we want our kids to uh, be well and belong and all of these things. And I also know that we project our fears on them. And it takes, balls
Yeah.
to let your child play for 3 years. It definitely does.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like a radical decision, but this is the norm in democratic schools.
Uh-huh. And we had heard many success stories. Are you aware of any stories that didn't go that well? Children that didn't thrive in this system?
No, I don't know.
Wow, how cool is that? I love it. Okay, and so when you get to evolve in such an environment that values your voice, an environment that values your opinion, um, to such an extent, uh, wow, to me it sounds just wonderful, and it's like the opposite of what I said before, of having people projecting their fears on you, is just the opposite. It's like your environment is projecting faith in you and trust in you. So this could be vastly empowering.
Yes, exactly. This is what makes the difference from the school we have known, from the school we know and we have been to. This is exactly the difference. And it's a way of developing a new paradigm for me, at least. So this is what we strive uh, to change the paradigm. And we're a large community now and worldwide. People who support this democratic education and self-directed learning. Um,
Evangelos, before we jump into these groups of people that you belong to as well that support democratic education, I'd like to go back to what we were saying before, that when a young person is being treated with such, um, faith and trust and respect, this person is a valued individual.
mhm,
And so this person, this is a very different situation, condition, thing from how kids are usually being treated. Because
mhm,
the conventional way to treat a child is, oh, you're a child, you don't know anything, or you're a child, or I'll tell you what's right, or listen to me and learn from me, or watch me and learn, or well, that's your opinion, but this is what we have to do. And so things that directly or indirectly project that you're not enough, you're not smart enough, good enough, old enough, and all of these things. You are a child. So what's the difference here?
I think we're talking about adultism,
Oh,
right?
yes, we are.
Yeah. What's the difference? Yes.
What is
This is
adultism? Tell us.
uh, okay. It's a discrimination of children on the grounds of their age, of their young age. Uh, it's like we would say that it's a social structure of discrimination because it's based on the imbalance of power between children and adults.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the adultism is differentiated treatment of minors due to the to judgments based on their age
Mm-hmm.
than their actual abilities. So um, yeah, this is so it's a something that we really don't realize, even we adults, that we actually act like act by discriminating, even without even realizing it. We're not conscious of it most
Mm-hmm.
of the times.
Yeah,
So
it seems to be part of our DNA. It's the way we were brought up. So it's like an
mhm.
automatic way that we bring up the new people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, adultism is based on the principle that on the notion that children are incomplete, imperfect beings, So this is the basis of
Wow.
adultism.
Imperfect beings, it hurts me to hear
Yeah.
that because children are so pure, purer than us older people, and they have so much more potential to be shaped and to grow into their full potential. So it's, oh, God, it literally hurts me in my
Yeah,
chest.
exactly. Because children, especially during the first years of their life, they actually depend on adults' care and protection. So this discrimination begins when protection is used in order to extend children's dependency beyond this necessary care.
What do you mean?
I mean that well, it doesn't happen this deliberately, but where overprotective behaviors by parents, let's say, by adults, can limit children's chances to have agency for themselves and be and decide for themselves.
So
So they become helpless and dependent on the adults.
right, and how would um, the opposite of this look like? Not overprotecting.
To encourage children's active participation in
Uh-huh.
in their protection, let's say. So children can express their need for safety and protection when they need it, and they can also express their views on nature and the quality of this protection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a protection that is co-formed by children and adults. So it's much more effective
Yeah.
since it's desired and created by the receiver of this. So it's not about. So it cannot lead this way. Sometimes there's overprotection, which leads to abuse in the form of adults imposing power upon children.
But again, there is a delicate balance, as far as I can see, between protecting or overprotecting and giving
Mm.
freedom and letting the child be.
Hmm.
Because, well, the line between overprotecting and maybe neglecting could be tricky.
Mm.
What do you think?
Um, I think the best ways to keep a balance and have some kind of equal coexistence of adults and minors and non-adults, where every person also respects both the personal and other person's limits,
Hmm.
and even in this way, um, yeah, they're not this way. It's not about. It's like being able to be part of this of the decision making of what is affecting you, and in this way children are also empowered and become in a way more responsible and equal, not equal in terms of physical, but equal in terms of rights.
Hmm. Hmm. And you used the word non adult instead of child.
Mm.
And do you think that the word child embodies this kind of discrimination?
Yes, yes, in the borders, yeah, that's true. It's filled with this approach that considers children as being imperfect. So this is what we're talking about. Children only can only play and not able to decide for themselves. So it's really, yeah, some way discriminatory expression.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that. you help people who are interested in democratic education come together. You also help people who are nomads and homeschool their
Mm.
non-adults to feel supported. So tell us more.
Well, yeah, that started when I was away for some time away. I mean, from Greece. I lived in UK for some time,
Hmm.
and I met some of this, let's say, world schooling families, parents and children who are traveling, and they don't really follow a curriculum, fixed curriculum in their learning. They learn from the experience, from the journeys, from the being in contact with the locals, and this is very exciting to see how this works, and this inspired me to organize some retreats for all schoolers in Greece,
Hmm.
in the southern Peloponnese. So this lasted for 3 years. I organized about 12, 12 retreats, one week retreats for world schoolers. So this was one way to give my daughter some more exposure to children from other cultures, and so she had the chance even to practice her English, and it was a great experience for us. Yeah.
So homeschooling is not legal in several countries.
Yes,
Um,
one of them is Greece. Yeah.
and how leading those retreats, what did you see? How does it work for these families?
Well, most of the families, since they have kids in young age, they are interested in providing activities for the kids. So, learning activities where they learn by playing. Was really a great experience for them because they had the chance to interact with other children and families and parents, and interact with the locals as well. So this was interesting because we had, let's say, activities like olive harvesting, something that they had never done before, and it was really exciting for them to learn by doing uh, how the, let's say, the olive oil is produced. So this was a great lesson for them and for the children as well. And by doing this kind of activities, we had the chance to bond together. And one thing that these children probably lack is socializing because they don't go to school every day. So this is a great chance for them to be part of a community and socialize and interact with other children.
So looking from a distance at this lifestyle of the nomads and families who homeschool, what do you see? How does this work for both parents and their kids and their future? I mean, the kids' future.
Um, well, from what I know, since I've been in contact with these families, and I know that their children follow their own interests. They have the freedom to choose to their own to follow their interests, and they really do excel actually, because yeah, most of the children I met are now adults, almost all of them, and yeah, they have really been successful in their pursuit of their own interests, and the parents are happy as well because of this. Um, so it's a win-win situation.
And how does a person who is nurtured and raised outside of the conventional system, school system, how does this person get back in it? So, how does a person that has been homeschooled go into the university or join a research team or because they don't have the typical, prosonda,
Qualifications.
qualifications, thank you, to do that.
Yeah, but they qualified in learning how to learn. So this is a major difference from the kids from the conventional school environments. They are so empowered; they know how to learn effectively, and this makes the difference. Makes actually they are able to adapt to any situation, to any environment, because they are so empowered and confident.
Sounds awesome. Qualified in learning how to learn. Wow. And well, the next thing that comes to me is this is dependent a lot on the what the parents can do to educate their kids,
Mhm.
and what their take is on education, and what their the whole um, mood is around they have around education. So is this could this be risky? I mean, if for example a parent is less motivated or more bored or whatever, could this kind of um,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah,
If they are less motivated, they really do not embark on such a change in their children's life. So first, the parents have to be motivated
right.
and ready. I mean, most of the parents have already had probably some homeschool experience in their young age when they were younger, or they have researched all the possibilities of alternative ways of education.
Right,
So in a
yes.
way, they are ready. They are ready. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I bet it takes courage and motivation. And yeah, and when you have those, you are unstoppable, indeed.
Mhm.
So, is there anything else you'd like to add to our conversation?
I would like to mention that there are parents who do not fit into the, let's say, the conventional system of education, and they try to change that. I mean, they are actively involved in pursuing the change of educational paradigm. So there is a worldwide movement at this moment trying to change legislations in countries where the right to choose education is not respected.
Hmm.
So one of these countries is Greece as well.
Yes, it is.
Um, yeah. Uh, but the thing is that most of the people are working probably at home. They have not created a wide movement, let's say, that would be enough to not to be ignored by the state, by the governments. Um, and this is what probably is lacking right now.
Hmm.
Some kind of worldwide movements that cannot be ignored and which can establish the legitimacy of all their causes.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think the young generation is probably more fitted to do that. The youth are regarded right now as the most important change agents.
So, where can somebody who's interested be informed? What can they join? What kind of group can they join?
There are many groups, but the worldwide group is the IRO, which is based in the States.
Hmm.
It's the Alternative Education uh, Organization.
Hmm.
Uh, Next is UDEC, which is the European Democratic Education Community, and there are many local, let's say, initiatives in many countries that are some of them are connected to the worldwide movement of aero and UDEC.
Great, great. Um, Everything you've shared is precious, in my opinion. I love all these new ideas, and not so new, some are pretty ancient,
Yeah.
but valid today and with amazing potential. And thank you very, very much for sharing your experience and your knowledge. And yeah, wonderful conversation. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Theorem podcast. Connect with me on social media at Aspasia Provou and at theorem.podcast and share your thoughts. You may support us on Patreon. Visit the website aspasiaprovou.com/theorem for more. Τα λέμε σύντομα. Meaning talk to you soon in Greek. Aspasia's Theorem podcast does not provide advice, medical or any other kind. It just presents the opinions of its host and guests. If you have any specific problems, please visit your physician or a medical expert for help. Anything said should not be taken as a replacement for medical, clinical, or professional advice, diagnosis, or medical intervention. The episodes of Aspasia's Theorem podcast may, at times, cover sensitive topics, including, but not limited to, mental health, nutrition, health, politics, spirituality, alternative medicine, energy healing, and the use of plant medicines. You're advised to refrain from continuing if you are adversely impacted by any of these topics.